The former president of Pinterest, also a former executive at Facebook, is on a mission to prevent technology addiction with a new mobile app. It's called Moment, and the app aims to help users assess their smartphone use. Tim Kendall is the CEO of Moment, and he joins us now from San Francisco for a little bit on the evolution. Tim, thanks very much for talking with us. And before we talk about what this business is all about, just talk to us a little bit about your own history. We mentioned your time at Pinterest and a Facebook executive. You reached a point where you personally decided you wanted to delete your Facebook app. How come?
Well, I wasn't getting value out of the app. I'm not sure that's always the best route for everybody. Our view at Moment is that, you know, you need to sort of everyone needs to personally figure out what's healthy and unhealthy. For me, any social media usage was just distracting to me. But I think we see a lot of users who use it in moderation, 20, 30 minutes a day, and they're sort of behaviorally very healthy and happy. It's when we start to see usage of social media creep into the 40, 50 hour, 60 minutes a day where people start to feel a little bit more anxious, and actually they start to show signs of depression. But my experience was that, for me, I think the right path is just to get off it entirely.
Get off there. I mean, I usually bring my phone to set, Tim. I don't have it with me, and I feel like I am exhibiting signs of withdrawal. I make a conscious effort at home to bucket my time with my phone versus my time with my child, which sounds crazy to say out loud, but you've obviously identified a need, and I'm wondering how Moments through a phone app actually solves that problem.
Yeah. Well, we believe this is a health epidemic. We believe that there is a huge population who are behaviorally addicted to their phones. And in fact, if you look at the American Psychological Association did a survey last year, 70% of adults think they have a problem, i.e. they use their phone too much. Only about 25% of them were able to reduce usage when they tried. There's a study that came out last week from Penn that basically showed first causal link between excessive social media usage and depression. So there's a real problem. The way that we're going after it is Moment, in a phrase, we're trying to give you back your time. So how do we do that? We basically track and help you understand how you use your phone, and then we help you change how you use your phone. And the way that we do that, it's not actually dissimilar than what you just mentioned with how you are managing your time with yourself versus your time with your child, is we have a whole set of courses that help people with step-by-step exercises, again, understand how they use their phone and then change how they use their phone. So we've got a specific course that would be great for you. It's a 3-day course, and it's focused on how to address this issue for your family.
Now,
So it helps you really set up boundaries with when am I going to use my phone by myself so that my kid doesn't actually see me on my device, and when am I going to put my phone away and actually be present and engage with my kids. And so we've got a whole set of courses. Some are focused on sleep, because that's a big issue vis-a-vis device addiction. We've got some that are focused on attention span. But that's in a nutshell how we're approaching the problem with this app.
My brother-in-law did something like this. He actually went away for like 10 days, where it was part of it was device detox, but also no talking for 10 days, which I think in this job I would love to do that. But one of the things he did when he came out of it was grayscale, getting rid of all the colors on your phone, so it's like less exciting to look at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have a course, a 4-day course. It's a detox course, and it basically is it's comprised of a bunch of best practices for reducing your addiction to the phone. And one of the things that we suggest is grayscaling your phone. We also suggest you turn off notifications. We also suggest you move apps to other screens so that your main screen when you turn on your phone doesn't have a lot of distracting apps on it. And particularly we suggest that the highly addictive apps, social media services, YouTube, etc., pushing those off to other screens can help people moderate their usage. And in that case, they get their time back, which is what we care about and are focused on at Moment.
Tim, it's funny. If I were to think of less than cutting edge companies saying, you know what, we're We're in the retail business, and we see what's going on with Amazon, but we just don't think it's healthy. We're not going to have an app. We're not going to have a website. We're going to focus on just having a business that has no phones. The stock would probably take a hit. So can you give us a sense on this business opportunity as a business person that you've seen, and the kind of adoption that you're actually seeing with it?
Yeah, well, I think it's not unlike other health epidemics in that there clearly was a tobacco health epidemic. There has been a sugar health epidemic, and the reality is that I think in both of those epidemics, things used that were bad for you, that were used in excess. There was an industry that developed around helping people basically get control of that overuse, and I think we're dealing with the same thing with the phone right now. I think that if this problem isn't checked, you're actually going to have people who are exhibiting not only behavioral health issues, but a lot of these behavioral health issues like anxiety and depression actually lead to physical health issues. And so even a technology company like an Apple, I don't think over the long term they actually want their customers to get sick by virtue of using their phones too much. They actually, I think in the 10, 20-year time horizon, are incentivized to help users to some degree moderate their usage. So I actually think that many folks in the technology industry, and you're starting to see this in the last 6 to 12 months, are going to come in line with this way of thinking, which is actually like some moderation is not only good for our customers, it's probably good for our business in the medium and long term.
So since you spent time working at Facebook, and we've talked about them already today, that the stock is once again under pressure, I wonder how much advertising in fueling digital media companies has played a role here, because if you've got an ad-focused business, as a Facebook, for example, does, there is this desire to keep you on the phone so that you'll see those ads. And Tim, you know this better than me. Many times people have said Facebook's future should be a subscription business. You know, you pay to use Facebook so that you're not dependent on advertising that sometimes leads to this kind of behavior. Do you think we're going to see more shifting in some of these Silicon Valley companies and how they define their business model if this is an epidemic?
I guess the way that I see the problem, I've heard this argument. My view is that more time spent doesn't actually equal more money when it comes to these internet advertising models. Google's a great example. In Google search, they actually don't have that much aggregate time spent, but they make a tremendous amount of money because they're able to put an incredibly relevant ad in front of you based on your search query. And so I just think it's going to put the onus on Facebook and others just to get better at showing more relevant advertising that doesn't require, so it's sort of like higher yield advertising that doesn't require them to lock you in for so much time before they're able to get the right ad in front of you to make money, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
I think this notion of moving away from, I think in general these are media businesses. And I think media businesses tend to be either subscription or they tend to be either advertising driven. And I struggle to figure out how a business of a scale of some of these social networking services could really viably switch to subscription and not just see a huge step change in their revenue that would erode the business. I think that's unrealistic. I think what they're going to have to do is just improve advertising quality.
Interesting story. Tim, thanks for sharing it with us this morning. Tim Kendall, CEO of Moment, and the former president of Pinterest, joining us from San Francisco.